The morning air at Port Valor Naval Base carried a strange stillness, the kind that settles in before history quietly decides to change course. The ocean beyond the cliffs rolled endlessly, indifferent to rank, medals, or reputation. Seagulls cried overhead, their voices sharp against the disciplined silence of the parade ground. 1,000 troops stood in flawless formation, boots aligned, shoulders squared, eyes forward. Every detail had been rehearsed down to the second. This ceremony was meant to honor command, order, and authority. At the edge of the formation stood Lieutenant Commander Mara Hale. She did not look extraordinary at first glance. Her uniform was regulation, her posture was perfect but unshowy. Her face held no arrogance, no hunger for attention. To most observers, she blended into the sea of disciplined personnel, like a single drop of water in the ocean behind her. That was how she preferred it. Years in naval special warfare had taught her that the loudest presence was rarely the strongest. Mara had arrived at the base 2 days earlier under sealed orders. No escort, no announcement. Her mission now was simple: attend, observe, and await further instruction. She had stood in worse places, under darker skies, with lives balanced on seconds. A ceremonial ground with polished brass and marching music did not unsettle her, but she felt it anyway. Tension beneath the surface, a pressure in the air that had nothing to do with weather. The band struck its opening note. The sound rolled across the base, sharp and proud. Senior officers began taking their positions on the reviewing stand. Among them was Admiral Kellen, a towering figure both in stature and reputation. His uniform was heavy with decorations earned across decades of service. His name carried weight, his temper carried fear. Kellen believed in command the old way, authority enforced, not earned. To him, hesitation was weakness, and correction was humiliation. Many admired him, many more endured him. As the ceremony progressed, everything unfolded as planned. Speeches were delivered, honors were announced, applause came in controlled waves. Cameras captured every angle, broadcasting the image of unity and discipline. Then, during a transition between segments, a junior officer misread a signal. It was small, almost invisible, a half step too soon, a cue delivered seconds early. Most people wouldn't have noticed. Admiral Kellen did. His jaw clenched, his eyes hardened. Without waiting for an aide, he descended from the reviewing stand. The movement alone sent a ripple through the formation. This was unscripted. He crossed the parade ground with purpose, each step loud and deliberate. He stopped directly in front of the young officer, his presence towering. His voice cut through the air, sharp and unforgiving, calling out the mistake for everyone to hear. The officer stood frozen, humiliation burning behind disciplined stillness. Then Kellen's gaze shifted. It locked onto Mara. "You there," he barked. "What unit are you with?" "Naval Special Warfare," she replied calmly. A murmur flickered and died among the ranks. The words carried meaning, but Kellen's anger drowned it out. "So you think that gives you privilege?" he said, stepping closer. "You think standing back here makes you untouchable?" Mara met his eyes, steady and level. "No, sir." Her calm only fueled him. "You will learn," he snapped, raising his voice, "that no one is above correction." Before protocol could intervene, before reason could slow him, Admiral Kellen struck her across the shoulder with the back of his hand. It was not meant to injure, it was meant to degrade. The sound echoed across the parade ground like a gunshot. 1,000 troops froze. Cameras caught everything. Mara did not cry out. She did not step back. Her body absorbed the impact like it had absorbed cold water, recoil, and pain countless times before. She inhaled slowly, deeply, grounding herself. In that breath lived years of memory. The first day of buds when doubt nearly broke her, the freezing surf at night, the weight of teammates on her shoulders as she dragged them to safety. the funerals where flags were folded with perfect precision and handed to families who would never hear the full story. She turned her head slowly and looked at Admiral Kellen. "Sir," she said, her voice even but resonant, "do not touch me again." The silence that followed was heavier than any command. Kellen stared at her, disbelief flashing across his face. He laughed once, sharp and dismissively. "Is that a threat, Commander?" "No, sir," she replied. "It's a boundary." A boundary he refused to recognize. He lifted his hand again. What happened next unfolded in less than a second. Mara moved. She stepped inside his reach, redirecting his momentum with practiced precision. Her movement was clean, controlled, and unmistakably trained. She struck once, exactly where she needed to, and guided him down with the kind of efficiency taught only to those who operate where mistakes mean death. Admiral Royce Kellen hit the concrete and did not get back up. The parade ground was utterly silent. No one cheered, no one gasped. Shock held everyone in place. Metals glinted uselessly in the sunlight. The ocean continued to roll behind the base, uncaring. Mara stepped back immediately, hands visible, posture neutral. She looked down at the fallen admiral, her expression neither triumphant nor angry. Then she spoke quietly, but every microphone caught her words. "Don't forget," she said, "I'm a Navy SEAL." Medical teams rushed forward. Senior officers flooded the scene. Orders were shouted, then contradicted, then replaced by stunned quiet. The ceremony was halted. Cameras were shut down. Within minutes, the moment was already becoming history. The investigation began that same afternoon. Footage was reviewed frame by frame. Witnesses were interviewed. Regulations were cited. Lawyers debated intent, authority, and response. The world outside the base erupted with opinion, some calling Mara a hero, others calling her reckless. But facts have weight. Admiral Kellen had initiated physical contact. He had ignored a verbal warning. He had violated conduct unbecoming of his rank. Mara Hale had acted in self-defense, using proportionate force. The ruling was clear. She was cleared of wrongdoing. The admiral was relieved of command pending further action. In the days that followed, the base felt different. Conversations grew quieter. Commands were delivered with more thought. Young officers watched their leaders more closely, learning not just how to give orders, but how to earn trust. Mara returned to her duties without ceremony. No press conference, no victory speech. That wasn't her world. One evening, as the sun sank low and painted the sky in gold and fire, she stood alone near the cliffs overlooking the ocean. The wind tugged at her uniform. The sound of waves filled the quiet. A young sailor approached hesitantly. "Ma'am," he said, standing at attention. "Permission to speak freely?" "Granted," she replied. "I was there," he said, "when it happened. I just wanted to say thank you for standing up. Not just for yourself, for all of us." Mara nodded once, her gaze still on the horizon. "Respect," she said softly, "isn't about rank, it's about responsibility." The sailor nodded, understanding settling in his eyes. History would remember that day in headlines and short clips, but the real